Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. I'm Paulie D. That's Chris Kotsopoulos. And right there, that's Ron Greschner. Welcome.
I'm happy to be here, too.
Awesome. Love having you, Ron. A lot different from the old days when Kotzi and I were using phone lines and we didn't have any visual. It was just all audio. Exactly. It was like Morse code back then, but we figured it out, man.
Well, it's nicer now, too, because you can get Kotzi's whole body on the screen.
Oh, my God.
Oh, here we go. The gloves will be off tonight, Paulie. Trust me. But I will warn you ahead of time. I'm pretty good, but there's nobody better than Quick Wit than him.
He's the best. This is so much fun.
My eyes are so bad. And those glasses you're wearing, Kotzi, looks like you have two black eyes.
Okay, I'll take them off. Actually, I don't need them now. All I can see is blur.
Put them back on to find your beer, though. Put them back on to find your beer.
I can see enough to grab this, no problem. Okay. Hey, remember, Yingling, I keep telling you, week after week, sponsor us. I'm drinking your damn beer. Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Good beer,
too.
Oh,
my God. I got to tell you, if you haven't been here for a show between with Ron Greschner, you are in for a treat. These two guys got banter better. There's no one better. It's so much fun. So I just sit here and try to navigate through the holes. Other than that, it's a show. It's a show of all shows. Let me start off by saying, Ron, thanks for taking some time. We love having you.
And by the way, you are our very first video guest on this show.
Podcast guest, yes, you are.
That's
we will mark that one down. No, we haven't had anybody on video. You're the first. You might be the last, but
yeah. You're one of the only ones that are alive.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for coming, Ron. It's awesome. It's always a pleasure. Lot to do tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about. Hopefully, we're going to talk about some of the old times with you two guys because it's fun and the fans really love that. But obviously, a lot to talk about with the New York Rangers and the NHL really as a whole around the league. I'll kind of get it ripping here a little bit. Let's start with we'll start with the easy stuff, man. Ron, obviously you and Kotzi played, in the NHL together and apart, and obviously you were captain of New York Rangers. You played a lot of hockey. The game has changed immensely from the time that you played till now. What, if you could, give me the two things, and these are questions I get asked to ask. Give me the two things that you think that have made the game better. Give me two things that you think that the game has really, taken away from and hurt and hurts from.
Well, I think that the by taking out the red line, they made the game faster. But they made it. They you still have a lot of guys with guys have great skill today compared to 50 years ago.
Right.
Because the game is a lot slower. Like somebody said to Brian Leach one time, the game's so much faster now. He said it should be. You got nobody hacking you, nobody holding you, nobody dragging your jersey, nobody cutting in front of you, nobody holding you back. There's nothing going on. It has to be faster, and it is. And but nowadays everybody can skate. Like people come to me, their parents, they go like, "Well, what should my kid do?" I go, "If you can't skate, find another job, because you're not going to be around. You're not going to be lucky enough to get in there if you can't skate." But the other thing the other thing is kind of a three-parter. What I don't like that flipping the puck over the boards as a penalty.
Garbage.
And I don't like the icing call where they race back, and I had my shoulder separated 3 times because of that. And never bothered me. I'm behind. But and the third thing is, well, I guess I would go to things I do like. I do like the part about when there's a penalty, the face-offs in in the offensive zone.
Right.
That's got to make your power play 5 to 10% better per year.
Sure.
You know, and because they used to shoot the puck down, dump it in your end, that face off is in your end. That's another 20 seconds to get to the other end, right?
Yep.
And in 20 seconds, it's like I tell my kids, buying something for $20 is not that expensive unless you buy it every day. Every game, every power play, you lose 20 seconds. Add that up, to 150 power plays.
Yeah.
How much time you lost?
That's a great point. It's a great point.
Oh yeah. Once if you're in there, and most of the team, like Trocheck now, this kid, he is. I didn't really like him that much in Carolina, but he's grown on me.
Yeah.
Well, he was a pain in the ass player to play against there.
No, I know that, and that's why I didn't like him.
He had an abrasive style. That's
why I didn't like him when he was there. But he's grown on me because he sticks his nose in there. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he sticks his nose in. He goes to I guess what they call dirty areas now.
Right.
I mean, there's no dirty areas in hockey.
Not anymore, right?
Not like it was.
I'll be not to interrupt you, Chris, but be 19 years old and going into Philadelphia in 1974. I'll show you dirty areas there.
I was going to ask you that. It was going to be one of my questions. I might as well get right into it with you.
Sure.
You broke in 74, and I was going to ask you, what was it like going to Philly back then for the first time?
Well, you know what? I came from a team in junior that was like completely made Philadelphia look like they were wearing halos.
And that would be the new Westminster Bruins, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and there was it was a great organization that team with Ernie Punch McLean. Going into Philly back then, it was like the worst part was every year we played them in exhibition games, and those weren't exhibition games; those were just fights.
Yeah,
that's all they were. Whatever it was, every game you had a fight, and back then they never threw you out for a fight. There was no whatever. Everything got changed around with the 2 minutes and 10 minutes and misconducts and all that crap. And the instigator fight. Oh, the instigator. Oh, there it is. It's on the screen. But anyway, Philly was a tough place to play. And then one year, Chris's first year was 80-81, we ended up, we had extra defensemen. So they came to me and they go, "You want to play forward?" I go, "Sure, I don't care." My first game was in Philly, playing left wing.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'm going like, okay, I want to see what this is really like because everybody, they do this, they do that, they fucking punch you from behind. I came in after the first period. I go, these guys are all talking. Hey, Ron, how you doing? I go, get lost. Now that we got a tough team, you want to talk to me? Get lost. It was.
I love it.
It was crazy.
I remember that because Gresh had a way in the dressing room to the quick wit. He was just walking by in front of everybody. I don't know what he probably just came back from having a cigarette break, but he just walked right by to the forwards and goes, "I don't know what the fuck you guys have been complaining about all these years. Nobody's touching me."
Never got hit. I got hit playing more on defense. I'm like,
awesome.
You guys have been complaining too much all these. Nobody's touching me out here.
It was amazing though. That team we had in 80-81 was a gigantic team. I mean, there were so many big guys on that team that it was scary. And every team we played LA. I think in the first LA the first round.
Yeah.
And we dogged them bad. And then we played St. Louis, and St. Louis was a good team. I think they were second in the league.
They were first overall right until the last week that year, Gresh, and I think the Islanders nipped them at the wire.
Yeah, we played them. We played number 3 was LA. We beat them. Then we played number 2. We beat them. Then we played the Islanders, and we run out of goals.
No, you go back and look at that 881 team, Gresh. For me, I think I really noticed how the respect that the team got because of its size and physicality was at the old Calgary Corral on the road. Because Calgary had a huge team too. They had Ed Kia, Willie Platt, Kenny Houston. They were monsters.
Linsky.
Yeah, and it was one of those. I remember like looking at them in warm up, and they were doing a lot of staring at us, going like, "Who the fuck are these guys?"
It got to be. I know.
Like the New York Rangers of past. They were like they were straining their necks, going, "Who's that?" Because you were already there, obviously, as a veteran, but you added me. You basically added Hospodar. You added Tommy Laidlaw. I mean, 3 guys alone right there. They're over 6'2". They were well over 210 pounds. You know what I mean? I was 215, 218. Tommy was like 215, 218. Yep. Boxcar was 210. And you added that. We got Nicky halfway through the year, remember?
Yep.
Brought Nicky back from Hartford. Then you had yourself, Bubba. Okay, Barry back. You had the light heavyweight Eddie Johnstone. You know what I mean? And then the Maloney brothers. The Maloney brothers weren't scared of nothing. Okay, trust me. One was a stick guy, but Donnie would stick his nose in there. And then you had Dukes. Doogie could scrap for his size.
Dukes is tough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I do remember that game in Calgary is where I first took notice that, this team's not good. We may not win a lot of games during the regular season, which we didn't that year, but we're not going to get intimidated by anybody. There's not one team in the league that can look at the Rangers and go, "We own you guys physically," because they couldn't.
No. It was like when we were talking about the last year I played junior. We're the still up to right now. We're the team I played on. We were the only team never to lose a home game.
Wow.
We went 28 0-6. And we were playing a game, one of the games that like the last 4 or 5 games of the year, we were playing against the Brandon Wheat Kings, and there was a guy named Ron Chipperfield.
Yeah.
And he scored like 90 goals that year, 100 goals. And after halfway through the second period, we were down 6-0. Imagine that. And we end up winning the game or tying the game. And Ernie McLean came in and he let, oh my God. He goes, "You guys at home losing to this team?" And Brandon was a pretty good team. But he used to get mad. He used to go, make a couple guys skate into their end in the warm-ups.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh yeah. That's the way it was back then, Paulie. Trust me.
I love it. I love it.
There was no such thing as penalties for slashing unless you slash the guy across the face.
Right. Yeah. I know. I don't ever remember. I mean, it was rare, few and far between.
Listen, go play games in Philly. You come back after you go jump in the shower. You had burn marks all over your body from being slashed and hacked.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was. That was the game.
Yeah, go back to that new Westminster team. Though, that being from Ontario and Toronto, we always touted the OHA, but the one team that always came up, and still probably to this day, the most famous junior team out west is the new Westminster Bruins. I don't care what anybody says. There's so many great teams out there that through history that won championships, but they'll always point to the new West Bruins because, I mean, we knew exactly what you guys were doing. It was like, holy shit, look at this guy with his penalty minutes. Look at this guy with his penalty minutes. And then you look at the offense, too, at the same time. I mean, it was one of those. You're gonna get beat more ways than one by the new West Bruins. And Ernie McLean had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, well, my last year, we had lots of young guys in our team. We had a couple older guys. I had 33 goals and 70 assists for 103 points.
Wow.
And I was leading scorer on the team and goals, right?
Wow.
And then they wanted Ernie Scotty Monroe, who ran Calgary, wanted to trade for me to, and him and Ernie were going to trade me to Calgary because Calgary had Mike Rogers, Danny. Oh, you know Mike Rogers.
Oh yeah, the guy that ruined my Ranger career.
Mike Rogers, Danny Gare, and Jerry Holland. It's probably the best
Jerry Holland.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I ran into him in the minor leagues in Toledo.
Yeah. That was one of the best lines in hockey though back then. That was like that they were on the same level as Dennis Sobchuk, Clark Gillies, and Wanchuk. That was the best line in Regina. And Regina won the Memorial Cup that year.
But no, like I said, nobody's going to remember Regina. The most famous junior team out west is always going to be the new Westminster Bruins.
Yeah.
On that one. What was it like riding the buses back then, though, Gresh?
Oh, it was fun. That was fun.
Come on, tell us a little bit about the snowshoes, and
Well, you know what happened was we would leave New West, which was in British Columbia by Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
We would play a couple home games at the beginning of the year, and then like say maybe 3 home games, and then maybe go to Victoria, play a game, then we'd go on the road. So we would leave whatever day it was, Tuesday, and we would leave on the bus, and we would drive up to Kamloops, British Columbia, which is about I think it's about a 5-hour drive or something like that, and play that night. Get on the bus after the game, drive through the mountains to the Alberta, which was about a 12-hour drive, and then play the next night. Then we go from there. We go to Saskatoon, which was about a 5-hour drive. Play that night, and then we go to Flin Flon on Saturday night at 8:00 and 1:00 on Sunday games. And then Flin Flon, they had a real tough team. The games were on, like the game starts at 7, 8:00, whatever. The game's over at 2:00 in the morning, and you're playing again at 1:00. So that would be, you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in 6 days probably.
And these guys complained today about 3 games in 4 nights.
We play like probably 11 games in 14 nights.
Wow.
Yeah, but the travel time. It's not a 5-minute ride to the rink or a 20-minute to the rink.
It'd be like traveling from in the States. It'd be like traveling from Seattle to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about some of the snowstorms you hit too? That delayed your times.
Well, we had a bus called the Iron Lung. that thing didn't. If you sat in the back 4 or 5 or 6 seats, you have to keep your feet off the ground because your feet would freeze to death. It was awful. But it was there was nothing wrong with you learn from all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it makes you tougher too. It makes you tougher mentally about
or stupider.
Knowing that you're going to be on a long ride and you get to the game and you're like, well, we're here. We might as well win the damn thing. And you guys did a lot of winning back then. There's no question about that.
He used to drop us off though, like a mile from the rink. Or half a mile and a half from the rink, whatever. And then, like, sometimes it'd be snowing, like you couldn't see where you were going. Like, and you didn't know if they had concussion from the night before or not, whatever, right? Didn't matter. And you remember back then how the equipment was back then, the skates and that? Christ.
Oh, it's like, people don't get it. That's the other thing we can add to that why they look faster today, too, is the equipment's about 10 to 15 pounds lighter than what we wore.
Oh, everything is like, it's lighter, it protects you more. It's everything is like, everything is just so much advanced. It's you can't even imagine. Can't imagine.
When did you know? Okay, I got to ask you a couple. Coming out of New Westminster, when did you know, or did you have an idea that you were going to be drafted pretty close to first round? You should have been a first rounder, second round, stuff like that.
I should have been the first 5.
Okay.
I wasn't. I'll tell you the story about that. But I was really disappointed. I wanted to go to Atlanta, or New York or Atlanta, but I thought Vancouver would take me for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I played right there.
Yeah.
And I put the Hex. They'll never win a Stanley Cup. Vancouver, no, they had their chances. I was so mad at the Ranger team in '94 when they were up 3-1, and they were at the fifth game they come back and they lose it.
Yeah.
I go, I was going to myself, if you guys let this fucking team beat you, Canucks, like, I'll never go to the Garden again.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was a free agent before I signed with the Rangers, and Vancouver offered me more money.
Yeah.
I signed with them, but I didn't want to leave because I was already in the Ranger organization, minor leagues for two seasons before that. So
Yeah.
I could have been a Vancouver Canuck too had I been a greedy guy.
Oh, it's a great city.
It is a great city. I'll agree with that. Yeah.
It's just they didn't draft me.
When you finally got drafted by the Rangers, like, did you know the Rangers were going to pick you or what? Like,
I kind of figured it out. Emile Francis put in the paper that I broke my leg so bad, and that I'll never play again, so nobody drafted me. And that was the first year of 18-year-old drafts.
Yeah.
And that was 19. And he put in the paper that I broke my leg so bad. He called my dad, and where I live, it's there's my telephone number back then for my house was 44.
This would be good soil, Saskatchewan.
Good soil, Saskatchewan.
Great place to grow up. I was there this summer, but so he called my father and he told me, "Don't answer the phone, don't talk to anybody, don't do nothing." And I didn't, and he drafted me in the second round. And when I went in to sign my contract, he goes, "I feel bad that I kind of messed up and never got to draft you in the first round. I'll give you the same money."
So he was nice to you, but he wasn't nice to Mr. Katsopoulos when he was
at
Hartford.
Listen, I didn't know you then. I would have given you $10 back then. No, but he was from North Battleford, like not very far from where I grew up, 100 miles.
So Ron, let me. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that a lot of people want to know.
Okay. Who are the people?
Off, who was your favorite defense partner to play with? And you can't say Chris Katsopoulos, and I don't even know if you played.
You never played with me. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I played one shift with you in Vancouver.
I'm sorry?
Is that when I got cut by Tiger Williams' mouth and I never played with you again?
I think that was one time I played with you. Who was when I first started, Dale Rolfe, and he was my defense partner, and then I went from him to Jules Marat. I went from plus 30 to plus 9 in 20 games. The last 20 games of the year. Jules Marat broke his ankle so bad, he never played again in the Garden. But there was a lot of good. I mean, Brad Park was in there. You know, he when Brad got traded at the beginning of that year, it was tough because, and I was 20 years old. They're going like, okay, you got to do this. I'm going like, okay, by myself or what? There's nobody to help me. You know, but there was guys that came along like I roomed with Dave Maloney in the minors for a month, and who else was around there? They brought so many guys in like Don Orey and Doug Jarrett and all these guys in. They were all older though, you know.
Yeah.
So the team. I mean, I had so many coaches that I don't. If they had kids and I got invited to their wedding, I'd be broke.
Yeah, I counted them today. 15 coaches in 17 seasons.
16 years. 16.
Well, technically.
Okay. Well.
Yes, it's just that's nuts. I don't care what anybody tells you. That is absolutely nuts to have 15 coaches in one organization in 16 years. And I know 2 of them were there one time and then a second time. Took over for a while, but that's just absolutely nuts as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think that my first year was the Cats, and then my next year was Ronnie Stewart.
When did Jean-Guy Talbot come in?
No, it was Ronnie Stewart, and then it was
Fergie?
John Ferguson, then Jean-Guy, And then John, they all got that was 4 years. They were all gone.
Yeah.
And then Freddie came in.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like
Then it was Craig.
yeah, Craig, and
Then it was Herb.
yeah, Herbie, and then who was the guy from
Teddy
Philadelphia?
Sater.
Teddy Sater.
And then you had Espo. And you had Craig. Then you had Craig again.
Yeah.
Then you had the Frenchman.
Tom Webster.
Bergeron.
No, Tom Webster.
Oh, I forgot about Webster. Yeah, he used to yap me in the minor leagues when he was on his way out. No, I can't remember. He'd always
And Bergeron, which me and him got along really well.
You played with Espo, didn't you? You played with Espo in the Rangers.
Yeah, I played with Phil.
So
you played with him a little bit, Kotze. You played with him half a year there.
I sat next to him in the dressing room in the garden. I was to the right of him. His stall was to the left with all those Italian voodoo shit that he used to hang all over his locker.
I was so happy when they traded for Phil, because that way I didn't have the biggest nose anymore.
Oh, I was going to ask you that question. I got to do this, Paulie, real quick. Who does have the bigger nose, you or Phil?
It's definitely Phil. You know why?
Why?
What would you rather have? $1 million or Phil's nose full of nickels?
Phil's nose full of nickels. That's what I go for.
You take the nose full of nickels, man. That'd be $1.5 million. Oh my God. I still talk to him quite a bit.
Who was one of the most and I don't mean physically, but who was one of the most intimidating forwards that you would have to play against?
Well, it was funny back then because I never mind playing against, like back then the top 6 guys could play, and the bottom 6 guys, they just hit you and whatever. It was just all crazy shit.
Yeah.
So I never really cared about playing against those guys because there was guys like Dave Brown, all those guys. I swear to God, I'd go like, okay, I'm going to let you get the puck in the corner. And by the time you get to the net, either the ref will blow the whistle because you chopped the puck up or I'll get it away from you. And I'll kill you. I go ahead.
That's great.
I stand in the back of a baler on a field to make 50,000 hay bales in the summer. You think you're going to beat me up?
Yeah, but realistically, Ron, you were never scared of anybody. You were big, you were strong.
Yeah,
you could handle yourself out there. I'm not going to sit there and say you were in the heavyweight class of fisticuffs, but nobody took advantage of you.
I could have fought anybody. They weren't going to hurt me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I would stick a few punches in there.
Paulie, here's the thing: if you go look at the statistics, they got him down at 6'2". He's not 6'2". He's 6'4".
Oh.
Well, now he's about 5'4" because he's almost 75. But
I don't feel safe over.
I'm in my prime. I was 6'3", and he was always taller than me. But they never fixed it. It was always like 6'2".
No, well, when I came in, they asked me how tall are you. I go, I don't know, I was 6'2" last year, 195.
Yeah, and you were still, like I said, 18, 19, so you were still growing.
Yeah, I go like 6'2" is good. I go whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like when they said to me, "We want you to play forward." I go, okay. Somebody goes, "That doesn't bother you?" Well, it bothers me when I don't play.
Yeah,
right.
I don't care what.
I was want to play.
Yeah, I was a young kid. It's not what you want to do; it's what you want to do for the team.
Right.
It's not like I don't want to go to that thing. The name on the back and the name on the front. That's a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
You just that's just how you were brought up. I'm sure that's how you were brought up too, because it was all about the team. It wasn't about the rest of the crap.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So the next question I got for you is Hall of Fame, Gresh. Saskatchewan Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I looked it up today. Like if you go alphabetically, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're right in front of a guy with an H named Howe.
I did that in my speech.
Can you believe that though? Seriously, that you would ever be associated in that kind of like that's a kingdom of Saskatchewan.
Well, I mean, you got to remember. There's right after that comes Eddie Shore.
Yeah. There's a ton of guys. I looked it all up today. There's a ton of big names that came out of Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
You're right there with one of the greatest, if not the greatest, hockey player of all time.
Well, I don't. It's hard to say. Like there's Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
And then there's Gordie Howe, and then there's Wayne Gretzky, and then there's Mario Lemieux. But they're all so close. But Bobby Orr was the first of that generation.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, of more.
He modernized the game.
Yeah, more games, more goals, more points, more assists.
Yeah.
And somebody said to me, "Well, that was the years of expansion." Then why didn't everybody score 150 points?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I keep hearing that all the time about Gretzky and Lemieux too. The same shit from people.
Yeah.
It was that easy.
I scored 70 points one year, 68 points, and I thought I had a great year. Gretzky only had I think 212.
Yeah, 212. That was a bad year because he had 215 the year before.
Yeah. He was slacking off. But no, there was like it was a great. It was. They had a bunch of jerseys there. Jeff Friesen was inducted.
Yeah, I remember he was a good player.
Yeah, and the guy that defenseman that came from Ottawa that came here back like in the 07 or 09, whatever.
Wade Redden.
Wade Redden.
Yeah,
he was there. Nice guy. And then there was the King family that they played with the LA.
Yeah, Derek King. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was a big guy when they won their Stanley Cups there back then.
Nice family. They do a lot of work around Meadow Lake, that area. So they had a nice place. There was like 550 people there. I think there was about 250 of mine. Yeah, that
wouldn't that be the whole town of good soil?
No, some people didn't show up, but the ones that didn't show up, I didn't lose one goddamn minute of sleep. Listen, if you don't like it, don't come. If you want to come, people came some people came that I didn't think that were going to come, and I was very appreciative of it. It was very nice. All the jerseys sold for like $700, $750.
Nice.
I went for $10,050.
Wow.
Yeah.
The cops. Somebody call the cops.
Well, I know. I told them I'd have sold them for $900.
Oh, jeez.
Your turn, Paulie. Hit him with a couple because I got some more.
Oh, I got a couple of good ones. So, all right. So, you never told me the worst, the most intimidating player to play against, skill wise. Who was the guy who was like, damn, he's
Mario Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux. That's what Chris says. So he was
Mario Lemieux. He was 6'5", I think, around there, 6'6", 6'5".
Yeah.
Could skate. He looked his speed was deceiving. He looked like he wasn't moving, but nobody could catch him.
Yeah.
I think I told you that, Paulie. About his stride. His stride was about a half a foot longer than everybody else's.
Yeah, or more. And he
didn't look like he was moving like Gretzky.
He would get going out of his own end, and he'd take one stride from the blue line to the red line, one from the red line to the blue line. And then after that, you were just, Jesus Christ, lose the puck.
My reaction to him, I've said it on the show, Gress. Whenever he came down, I was like, "Oh, please go to my other partner. Please go to the other side of the ice. Just go over there, please. Don't come over here."
My very first game was November in '74. We played Buffalo.
Oh,
and
Gilbert Perreault.
Yeah, and so they just they just flood the ice, and then back then it wasn't like it is now. They flood the ice. You went and did Warmers, they reflooded the ice nice, but the ice was pretty bad back then. Excuse me, and so I'm up. Brad Park's on the ice. He comes off. I jump on, and the puck's coming out of their end. It's like a minute into the game, and I look up and guess who's coming down the ice with the puck? Perot.
Oh boy.
I'm going, God, fucking to be the shortest career in hockey. Like, all I'm thinking is I'm looking up. I'm going like, oh my God, this guy like. And he gets over the red line, and there was a big puddle. The water hadn't settled yet. Lost the puck in the water.
Oh,
I picked the puck up the other way. I look like I Oh my God.
That's great.
Well, there's a lot of guys like that though that you played against. Lafleur was like that too in his prime.
Hey, listen, when he came down, I would never let him pass it, right? Because he could pass as well as he could shoot. So I used to go. I remember one time he's coming down. Lafleur's coming down the right, shut on the left. So I said, okay, I'm just going to guard the pass across. I don't care what happens here. and Lafleur comes down and he whistles one, and it hits. It goes around the boards and all the way down.
Yeah.
The puck was down there, and how good Montreal was back then. Yeah. The puck was down there. I was trying to change, and they were
coming back
2-0. I go like, oh my God! It was the second period. He like Lafleur never touched the ice when he skated.
Yeah, he was another Rick Middleton, another one.
Oh, he was my
I got to play against him for a lot there in my 4 years in Hartford. He was another one. When he got the puck coming through center, I was always hoping he'd go to my partner's side. Please don't come over here. I don't want you. Because guys like Kip Greschner, I would just back all the way into the net. That's it. You're not going to beat me. I'm going to let you come all the way to the net.
Yeah, well, he didn't have a shot. If he could have put a sheet of glass instead of the goaltender. Ricky couldn't have broke that glass.
Huh. So, tell me this. For playing for as many years as you did against obviously Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky, we talk about Lemieux's size and how smooth he was at his size. What made Gretzky the greatest player in the world? What made Gretzky the guy that he became? What was so scary about Wayne Gretzky when he had the puck? Was it his vision? Was it his understanding? Was he that much further ahead in the game than everyone else?
I think that he just I don't like I think they say hockey IQ. That's a bunch of bullshit. Hockey IQ. Like, so you can read a book and I couldn't read, so means you're a better player than I am. I think that Gretzky had this thing about him that if you went to him, he dumped it to somebody else. So the next time he tried to play it in between, and he was another guy. Everybody goes, "Oh, Gretzky was not that big and wasn't that fast." Bullshit. When he got those little legs going, he had deceiving speed too. And the problem with him, he could probably carry the puck faster. He could probably skate faster carrying the puck than he could without it.
Wow.
Just like Orr could, and like McDavid does today.
Yeah.
That ain't hockey IQ. That's just a natural. You're born with that. You don't develop that when you're like 3. Everybody would develop it then.
And he was very elusive too, though, Gresh. He couldn't really get a good. A lot of people always ask me, "How come you didn't hit that guy? How come you didn't hit that guy? How come nobody hit that guy?" And I will point to the bench. Semenko and McSorley were 2 pretty good reasons, but he really wasn't that easy to hit. The only guy that ever got him was McCreary's son there in Toronto.
And Dave, who's the guy
he never played again after that night.
McCreary, from LA too. Dave something.
From Toronto.
No, from LA.
Oh.
He was on the Kings line, or what do you call it then?
Oh yeah. Dave Taylor.
Dave Taylor.
Yeah.
Punched him out.
Yeah, but it was not that easy to hit him. He would always have that little, sway like that, so you'd never get a full piece of him. Trust me, I tried to hit him. Okay, but
I got him once.
Because he got nothing but air.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Of course. All right, Katz, I'll let you get a couple questions in.
I want to get into the small town. Let's call it what it is, Gresh. You come from good South Saskatchewan. You get drafted by the New York Rangers. Now you're in Manhattan.
Yeah.
What kind of a culture shock was that for you, farm boy?
Listen to me. I don't know what age you. How old were you? You got to New York? 21, 20?
I was 21.
Well, I guess you weren't 19 driving around the Rolls Royce then.
No.
Derek Sanderson lived at a place called Sovereign Towers on 58th Street, and he had this beautiful apartment, and he had this Rolls Royce that he had. And back then, Derek liked to have a few cocktails, and by 5 or 6 o'clock, he was laying down and a nap. So we take the rolls and go out. Me and Middleton, and there was. I mean, we must go out of the car and look like these two hillbillies doing driving the rolls. Oh my God! It was. I loved it. I just loved it. I loved it from the day I got there.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. I mean, this is my 50th year going to the Garden, and it still gives me. Every time I go there, I still love going.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to figure it out, though? Is what I'm saying, basically.
About 5 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, about 5 minutes to figure it out. Because you know what? Nothing against any other town in the country, but there's only one real city in the world, right? Yeah. And the rest of the world is a fucking suburb. New York, and New York is New York. That's why they named it twice.
Yeah.
And I don't know. No, it's true though. I mean, it's like I never went. I think I scored like probably 65% of my goals on the road, maybe 70.
Really?
Because I never went out on the road.
At home, going on the road was time to recoup.
Oh God, yeah! I couldn't wait to go on the road, sleep, and the room service, sleep, play the game. But it was New York was just amazing. Like every time I was in this, I lived in the city. Whenever I went out, there was like Studio 54 or Xenons or all those places. Just amazed me.
Orrin and Aretsky's.
I just talked to Kenny Aretsky today.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've told Paulie the story the first time I went in there. I got introduced to Truman Capote and what's the guy's name there that does the tomato cans? Remember, like the paintings?
Oh yeah, I remember. I was
somebody introduced. I think somebody either Kenny or one the other guy who introduced me to him. Then I kind of found out that they weren't exactly heterosexual, so I got a little nervous. Yeah. I got a little nervous, and I had to leave.
I lived like 2.5 blocks away from there, and Peter Boyle lived a block from me.
Oh, Peter Boyle! Wow,
yeah. You're good. I'm Frankenstein, man. And, but he, I used to sit there and drink with him. He was just a nice guy, you know.
It was a nice little bar for my only year there. I remember spending many nights there.
I was friends with those two guys. Well, Steve has passed away. Kenny's still alive. Kenny is the ultimate restaurateur.
Okay.
He has a place called Patrons in the city, 5-6 story building. Still kicks it. It's still kicking big time, and but he's there dressed up like he always was, you know.
Thank you, WC. It was Andy Warhol.
Oh yeah, well, okay.
I was sitting at this table. I'm a 21-year-old Peach Fuzz rookie, and I'm sitting with Capote and Warhol, but then I got a little nervous.
Well, there was a bar on the west side called Cafe Central, and there was a guy named Peter Herrero who lives in the Carolinas now. We're still good friends, and he owned the bar. But he had all these guys that used to go there, like Robin Williams and Treat Williams, all these. What's his name? The Superman. I can't remember his name now.
Oh, yeah. Shit. I should know that.
Yeah. anyway, all these guys all became friends and stuff, and most of them are all dead. It's amazing. The guy from Die Hard, he was the bartender there for a while.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's not in good shape.
Well, Bruce Willis, yeah.
Bruce Willis, yeah. He's
Yeah.
not.
Yes, Christopher Reeves. Thank you, WC.
Christopher Reeves.
Reeves, yeah. And Chris was a big guy, you know, but he liked riding those horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I grew up almost on a farm. I liked the tractor. They didn't buck.
Yeah.
They didn't buck you off. I mean, you can tell me what you want, but a horse is a big animal. If they want to, you're not gonna tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I know his wife Dana passed away after, and his son does a lot of charity work and does a lot of stuff that's really, really good. I know he comes around the garden once in a while, but it was just. I remember back in the 70s, I went. I think it was Christmas. My mom and dad were down, and my nieces and my nephews and everything else. And so me and my father went across town to get a turkey cooked, all cooked and everything done, right? So it's on the west side on Broadway, like 78th Street, something like that. We get the turkey, get back in the cab, and we're going across. I said, "Dad, you want to shoot a little bit of pool?" He goes, "Yeah." So we go to there was a pool house over there, like the Raccoon Lounge or something like that it was called. And so we started playing pool. We're having cocktails. My father didn't stand back from drinking back then. So we get in the cab and we get over to the. So I get to there's a bar right on the corner of 85th Street in New York where I lived. So I called upstairs and told my mom, "Come down and bring everybody down. We'll have a little bite to eat down here, drink, you know, and they can cook the turkey after and whatever." So I sit back down at the bar and I go, "Dad, where's the turkey?" He goes, "You didn't have it?" I go, "I thought you picked it up." I'm not picking it up because he walked out of the bar with a drink in his hand. He goes, "I like to live here." That's all back over. They had the guy bring the turkey over.
Oh my God.
Is that kind of like the turkey that you guys sent me and Tommy Laidlaw to go get? Remember that story? You just keep going right down the street in Hartsdale. There's free turkeys waiting. Did I ever tell you that story, Paulie?
I think you did, but everyone wants to hear it, so tell it again.
Well, these guys, obviously veterans and smart asses as they were.
Yeah.
See a hillbilly from Brampton or Bramalea there in Ontario, and a city boy from Toronto. And they're gonna feed us the turkey story. So they said, "Yeah, there's a place down the street. Go. They got like 20 turkeys waiting for us. Like we want you to go get our turkeys for us." And we're like buying into their bullshit like it was real. And we're driving around for 2-3 hours looking for this place, and we can't fucking find it. We get back to the room the next day and we tell these guys we couldn't find it. And they still got a serious look on their face like, "Here's where's my turkey." Meantime, it was all fucking bullshit and just making us look stupid.
You went to the wrong address.
We were.
You went to the wrong address.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm telling you, we were up and down that main drag in Hartsdale at least 2-3 hours looking for this place. Like a bunch of dumb Canucks,
Oh, God, that's funny.
What are we doing?
That's too funny.
Hey, I remember, Ron, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure you told this story. I think it was a Nicky Fatillo story. You played a joke on him, something to do with his suit.
No, this was Nicky. Nicky had this shirt that looked like an Italian tablecloth.
Yeah, this is it. This is it.
So I had separated my shoulder, so I wasn't playing, right? So they're all on the ice. So I went down to the corner store, that little corner store down where Playland was there, Kotze. And I get salt and pepper shakers. I get all this little flour thing, and I throw my shirt on top of this table, and and it was like plates, paper plates out there, everything else. He came in the room, looked at the table, didn't go after anybody else, went right after me. He squeezed the end of my nose so bad. We were on Christmas time. He squeezed it so hard that it bust all the things. I looked like Ronnie the Red-Nosed Ranger.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
Oh, he didn't even look at anybody else, like maybe it was somebody else that did it.
Yeah.
Right
Oh my God.
You got to admit, Nicky loved to pull all the bullshit, but he didn't like to get it on him.
Oh yeah.
Nicky would be livid if you did anything against him, but
we toilet papered his house once in Long Beach.
Oh boy. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So next, I was driving a Renegade, one of those Sahara Jeeps, ragtop Jeeps.
Yeah.
It was like 78, 77, what's somewhere in there. And so I come out, can't find my Jeep.
Oh shit.
It just snowed about 2 or 3 feet, right? One of those big snowstorms. Can't find my goddamn Jeep, so I come out looking around. They took the top off my Jeep and they covered it with snow. And you think that was cold? Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Barely got it started. Let it run for like hours.
Oh my God. You
Had the
guys
bar
had a
up.
lot of fun.
Oh my
You guys
God.
had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, Nicky was. He was. he. I can't remember what year this was. We were in Montreal. No, we were Montreal or Toronto. Toronto. We were in Toronto, and we were staying at the Harbor Castle. I don't know if you guys ever stayed there. Chris, while you were playing, you didn't need to.
Hartford, we didn't have that kind of budget.
Yeah. Well, we were 5 guys to a room back then, so it didn't matter.
Jeez.
3 guys had to sleep standing up. They had so we come in and there's a security guard there. A huge lobster tank.
Oh,
Right? Nicky goes to me, go talk to the guard over there. Distract him. So I go, okay. So I'm talking to the guy and I keep moving, so the guy's looking at me like, because he was faced towards the tank, so I keep walking like this, talking hockey to the guy. The guy he talked hockey all night. I finally got him that his back's facing the tank. I think he's in there, grabs this big lobster, takes it upstairs, and put it on. I think it was Bill Goldsworthy. Put it on him. I took the little clamps off it. There was.
wasn't it Sarge?
What's that?
Did he do it to Sarge?
I did it to Bill Goldsworthy one time, and then we did it to Sarge. No, well, Nicky would room with Sarge, and Nicky would talk to somebody, get the keys, sneak up the room, hide in the bathroom in the shower once, hide behind the bed, behind the curtains, and so Sarge comes in, looks all over the place, can't find him, right? Goes in, he's taking a leak in the bathroom. I think he comes through the curtain. Sarge is all over the place. Oh God!
Listen all over himself.
Yeah. But it was
Great. Oh my God, that's great. That's fantastic.
Nicky was the perpetual shit disturber all the time.
He used to always go to JD. Hey JD, they operate on your knee, and then JD goes, "Yeah, what are you finding there? Bottle caps?"
Budweiser Michelob caps. That's what
Michelob caps.
It was the Michelob caps falling out of his knee.
Oh my God, it was too funny.
The memories. Okay, one other thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Your Stanley Cup, the Stanley Cup, the first
I wanna
time
get
and only
Ron-
time to hear Cup finals. You guys are up on Montreal. you were young. I mean, compared to Montreal. Montreal was that grizzled, obviously that great team from the 70s, mid-70s. You kind of had those guys. What happened? What is? Why did it just like completely fall apart after you won the first?
In game 2, we got up 2-0.
Yeah, you were up again. I remember.
And then, but they changed their lineup. They brought in a bunch of guys, and then so after game 2, Freddie should have put Nicky Fatillo in.
Okay.
Because true story, Larry Robinson used to say, "Don't touch him," because everybody was scared of Nicky.
Yeah.
One way, like this is how it was back in the 70s. And if he would have played, we probably would have had a chance to win. All those guys were running around just doing whatever they wanted to do. We had nobody to stop them.
Yeah, well, they had Chartres. He was playing for them.
Well, they weren't fighting. They were just.
Oh, I know, but they were a big physical team when they played the game any way you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be tough too if they had to be.
Oh yeah, they had the guns.
But I also think you told me a story about how you guys kind of went out after that first game.
Well, not all of us. Some guys did.
Not all of us? Were you not part of not all of us?
My family was in town, so I was with them.
Oh, okay. So that means the bathroom tub was full of beer.
That could have been. I'm like Schultz.
First and only time, Paulie, that I met Greschner's dad, and I think most of his family was in Vancouver, and the room that his dad was staying in had beer up to the top of the bathtub filled.
Never did for that.
And it was like a hockey hot stove, as we call it up in Canada.
Give me 1 second.
Everybody was just sitting around up top and hanging around and just drinking beer and talking BS with his dad. Look at that old guy go. He still moves pretty good.
Pretty fast.
At his age. But yeah, his dad was like basically owned all of Good Soil. You know what I mean? Like he ran a bar, a farm. He ran the whole town basically, and coming from Good Soil, Saskatchewan, to where he is today, and what he's done for the New York Rangers. I mean, the other thing people don't understand is how hard it is to play your whole career with one team.
Yeah.
Think about that. Who's the last Ranger that you know of that played their whole career with one team that played that long? Nobody else but him. Because even Leach got traded. You know what I mean? Even Brian Leach got traded. He got traded.
A year and a half with the Leafs.
Well, he went to Boston first, didn't he? I think Leachy went to Boston first.
What?
I was just discussing while you were taking a time out there about how hard it is, and especially after mentioning the 15 coaches that you had, how hard was it, or how easy was it, one way or the other, how to be able to stay with one team across your whole career? Because that's not really common in the NHL, and you know that.
I never thought I would have. Because I used to voice my opinion sometimes. Like we went through the 70s, and we had a few guys, and then they traded. I think I'm the only guy that ever played a game that was traded played on a team that was two first round picks were traded for coaches.
Wow.
I mean,
that was the greatest GM the Rangers ever had, though, that did that, right?
No, that was Freddie.
Teddy Sater?
Fred. Chiro.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Bergeron. Didn't you trade for him too?
Yeah, that was Phil. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy how much you get.
Kind of set you back.
Set you back. They traded away. I can't. I don't want to get started because they're having a good year this year, so I'm going to live on that.
Well, that'll bring me into a little bit of new segment here.
Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's going to be nice to get Ron's perspective here, sharing with the fans of the show. So got a couple of real simple questions, really, Ron. If there's a Ranger who you would say playing now emulates your style when you were a Ranger, who would it be?
It's hard. They don't have a guy that plays forward and defense.
It's true.
Yeah, no, it's like
who was the last one to do that for the Rangers? Was it Stu Bickle?
Yeah, well, yeah. That's
Stu Bickle was the last one. He played a couple of forward lines.
But didn't the kid that's in Jersey now, Smith? No,
Brendan Smith.
Oh, Brendan Smith.
He did play wing a couple times.
He might have wiggled up front there a little.
Yeah.
He's a great kid. That kid.
Yeah, I liked him too.
Like,
so if you had to pick a current Ranger right now, if you had to pick one closest to you, who would it be?
Geez, I don't know. I mean, every one of those guys, they have their own little, they have their own strong points. Like Lindgren, this kid. I've never seen a kid get hurt so much, but he's back out to the next shift.
Yeah.
He blocks more shots and more things with his face and his body. And
yeah.
He like I think he's just a good all around. Like he plays the old fashioned way.
Yeah. Yes, he does.
I don't think he's playing quite up to his par right now because last year he got hurt. I think he doesn't hit as hard as he did because I think he's testing that shoulder out. Because I've had shoulder problems, and that when you're like that, it's like you're a little bit tentative going in there.
Sure.
Like I think Fox. Could be one of the best power play guys I've ever seen because he can dangle with the puck. I mean, well, I'm talking about Rangers now. We're not talking about the league. I mean, like Makar is Bobby Orr. Okay, you can't.
Yeah. But yeah, right. Sure.
Paul Coffey. I mean, there's guys that rock and rolled 100 and some points back then. He can make those little passes and what benefits these guys nowadays. They wear these little gloves, so it's easier to stick handle.
Sure.
But they don't get slashed anymore.
Right. They don't get slashed on the wrist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your arms, like it was. I mean, your arms are never. I was carrying the puck. I get whacked, and I didn't care after.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
you got used to it.
It was like every day.
Sure.
I mean, I got hit with a slap shot right in the mouth, knocked all 8 my teeth out on top, never missed a shift.
Right.
Ernie McLean used to say, if you break your leg, skate off the ice. If you break them both, okay, I can understand. Well, help you out.
It's funny.
Yeah. Funny. He was the only coach. He was the only coach ever to go to 4 Memorial Cups in a row. But anyway, besides that's.
When you talk about the slashes, I'd like to say something about that too, Paulie. I think I said this to you on one of our shows a long time ago. If we actually counted all the bruises, I don't care if it was the size of a dime, the size of a basketball, okay, that we got in a full season, I guarantee it's over 100 to 150.
Oh,
okay, at least little bruises to big bruises.
Yeah.
You got hit with the puck that many times.
Yeah. And you know, well, it'd be like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Tape an aspirin to it and get out there.
It's definitely a much different game than what the era that you guys played.
I just think
I don't think it's a better game. It's just a different game, to be honest.
Well, I think overall there's better players, and I don't mean top couple. I mean from 1 to 12 in the forwards are way better than, like, if you're going to play a team from the 80s and they have to play a minute, the teams today, the bottom six would kill the bottom six back then.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The top six might be even,
but I would also throw this in there. Let's play under our rules and the way we played, and see how that bottom six guys would play today.
Well, you wouldn't. They listen to me. Like I watched the game the other day. I don't know who we were playing. I can't remember now. Anyway, it was a game against Jersey back like 80 something, and the hacking going on. Like the referee, they would have just put a fake arm up for him because he couldn't held his arm up long enough to have that many penalties.
Yeah,
it would have been. Well, yeah, like even when you had the puck and you're going around somebody and the guy slid out and knocked you down, no penalty.
No.
Right.
It's from behind, no penalty.
Oh, never that. That was like an automatic. But what I don't understand about the game today is they stand in a corner and they cross check like this.
Yeah.
Once in a while they call it.
Yeah, and most times they don't.
Yeah. I don't get it.
But I would agree with you. Like the 1 to 18 are far better skaters than the 1 to 18 in my day. I know that.
But then you got to remember one thing. The end zone where we played in was 5 feet smaller.
Yeah. Perfect for me.
Well, back then it was. I couldn't wait to get to Boston if I could kill penalties in Boston.
I couldn't wait to get to Boston too because I scored a goal from center ice there, Gress, from the slap shot. It was an easy place to shoot from.
Yeah, you could shoot from everywhere.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
But then
it was short by about 10 feet, right? Remember, it was like only 191, I think.
Yeah, and it was
the other.
The corners kind of like they didn't go like this. They went like this.
It was a shithole, but it was a good shithole.
Oh God, yeah.
It's fun to play at, huh?
Yeah.
Got you got any?
It wasn't fun to play with them, that's for sure.
You want to
Bruins all the time.
Got you got something current you want to ask, Ron?
No, I just think I want to know what. I'll let you go, but I want to finish Gresh up with what he's doing now for the Rangers.
Okay.
What businesses you're doing, all that stuff.
You need my address where you send the check to?
Yeah, and I just got to get the rubber doily out of the thing here.
Oh, checks in the mail.
See, there's the envelope. Look,
that's good enough for me.
Ron, who's your favorite Ranger right now? Who are you most impressed with as a Ranger right now?
Right, the team today.
Yep, right now, today.
Well, it's unbelievable right now. But I tell you one thing, that Lafreniere, they let this kid play. You watch. He got a slow start because he was only getting 5, 6 minutes, 7 minutes a game. The kid's a thoroughbred. The more he plays, the more he's going to develop, and the more that kid's going to turn into a 50-goal scorer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You'd watched him in junior a few years ago, and he was drafted first overall. And then if he'd have got the chance to play 4 years ago, like Hughes did, he that kid's good. He's big. He likes to hit. He can take a hit. Yeah. He can do a lot of things. I love that kid. He's getting to play his 18, 20 minutes now.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Will Cooley?
Cooley. I'm glad he's there. Yeah, he's not he's got 4 or 5 goals for the amount he plays. That's a lot. No, you think about it. I think he has 4, right?
Yeah, I think he's got 4 or 5.
He's had 2 taken away from him.
That would be hold on a second. I'll call you back. I'm still on the show. Okay, bye. Oh, okay. It's called the Instigators Hockey Show. Okay, bye. That's my son. So anyway,
I like Cooley too.
I like him because of his size.
He's going to be a really good player down the road. I personally think, and I've told Paulie this, that when this kid gets the ice time that he deserves today, he'll be a better version than Chris Kreider. I've said
Yeah,
this.
I believe that.
I think he's got better hands than Kreider does right
He's
now.
I think he has better hands outside of 10 feet around the net.
Yeah.
Inside 10 feet, like around that net, if Kreider's in there, can't move.
But I'm talking about carrying the puck.
Overall.
I'm talking about moving with the puck, making moves through center, making moves across the blue line.
Yeah. I like Lafreniere. I mean, what can you say about Panarin? I mean, that guy is just like, lighting everything up. Holy God!
Yeah,
well, I think. I'm as I always said to Paulie. Right now, he's like top notch, but he's got to maintain it all the way through the playoffs. That's the way I look at it.
Well, that's the way the game is played. I mean, Gretzky didn't have 300 points for nothing.
Yeah.
Ron,
He was
what's your overall?
He was lucky in the playoffs too, Gretzky.
Yeah.
What's your overall assessment of the current New York Rangers? Do you feel as if, I guess tell us your thoughts on the current team, and then tell us where do you think, if anywhere, the Rangers need improvements to really battle and compete and win the championship, because we're all chomping at the bit as Ranger fans. It's been a long time. It's 84 years between with two cups, with 84 years for one Stanley Cup. So current team, your assessment, and then obviously what improvements would you think need to be made, if any?
I don't think they need any improvement in the goaltending department, because that's been spectacular all year. Right. I would probably say if you needed anything, would be either one really tough, mean fighting defenseman. Not that he has to fight, because you can't expect Trouba to do it all.
Right.
And guys are on the ice now. Everybody's watching for the Trouba train, and that slows a lot of people down from playing fast in your end, because they're going to that extra second is how you score goals. Trouba's got them looking
the
next 2 seconds. But I think in the playoffs,
that's awesome, right?
No, but I think in the playoffs you always need have that. Your defense right now, the way it is, could probably start the playoffs if it's successful. But if somebody gets hurt, you need to add that maybe another gritty guy in there, just because whoever you're going to play against in the playoffs, those are the best 8 teams on your side.
Yeah,
right.
And you don't want to come up short, but I think as of right now, I think their team is pretty well set. But I wouldn't make any high profile moves, is my opinion, because I don't think I've seen those not work much in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
But but like these young kids, like Lafreniere, the way he is, look how much he's improved this year under this coach compared to the other 3 years. Right? He played 3 years.
Yeah.
Look how much he's improved in 25 games or 23 games, whatever they played.
And I tell you, you mentioned it. I think between Trocheck and Panarin, I think that has really helped him get on his horse and go. I think he feels real confident, and he seems now more confident than I've ever seen him as playing hockey as a Ranger.
Who's that? Trocheck?
No, Lafreniere.
Oh yeah, Lafreniere. But I mean, like Trocheck reminds me of one of those. He's a little more skilled and a little more tougher than Butch Goring. You know what I mean? One of those guys can take face-offs. Not a big guy, but sticks his nose in there.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And like I think he's doing a great job this year.
Yeah.
And Mika, you go to Mika, like, what can you say about the guy? He's had a great year every year he's been here. He's maybe not off to the best start he's ever had. But I think that he'll come around.
Yeah.
And when he does,
He's starting to. Yeah.
they're not going to keep him off the scoreboard for forever and ever and ever. Just the few goals he has now.
His numbers have gone up the last 4 or 5 games. But,
oh, absolutely, yeah.
But I want to get back to what you talked about, like that big tough Grizzly guy. I think you need. I agree with you 100%. You need that 5th, 6th, 7th type defenseman. The top 4 or 5 are set basically.
Yeah.
That 5th, 6th, 7th guy that you can move in and out of the lineup. And
Yeah.
Harper did the job pretty good last year, but unfortunately for him, he's injured now. I think he's out for the year down in
I didn't know
he got injured. I think he's out for the year. I did a little homework there. I was thinking
No.
he showed a lot. He showed a lot last year.
I mean, he was there. He stuck his nose in there, and he had a couple of scraps last year where I watched his early scraps in his career where he got beat a lot, but he was winning them with the Rangers. He wasn't losing them. So, but I also think you need that guy up on the bottom 6 too, Gresh, on the forwards. Yeah, the talent level up front for the Rangers is as good as anybody in the league right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would say top 6.
Yeah, they're as good as any of the top 6 teams because you think about it. Panarin's number 3 in scoring, guys. And that's better than Draisaitl and McDavid right now.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I think that you need that guy on that 3rd line, 4th line that's going to go out there and grind and hit everything there is out there to add to a guy like Pitlick, because Pitlick hits everything.
Yeah.
He hits everything. But you're going to need more of that once you get to the playoffs because it's a more heavy style in the playoffs.
And guys in the playoffs, you just get hurt.
Yeah.
If you have nobody to fill in for that, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. You can't go big and bring in light. That's for sure.
No. But I'm glad that Wheeler's coming around. He's starting to play pretty well.
It's a tough one. That's a tough one there right now. I feel for him, Gresh, because you know the story. We've seen the guys in their late years like that.
Yeah.
In our teams, it's tough on him right now.
No, it is. It is.
I'm hoping for him, but I got a feeling that if it doesn't continue to get better, they might have to make a move with him towards the end of the season or something like that.
Yeah, I talked to him before training camp or during training camp, and he loves it here. And
he came for nothing, Gresh. Think about it. Well, I would have taken $800,000, no problem. But you know what I mean. Like he could have asked for more, went somewhere else for another year or two, and got a couple million. But he came to the Rangers, not the cheapest place to live either. You know what I mean?
No, it's not.
So it's all about hockey for him.
Yeah, and he you got him, and you got Jimmy Vesey has impressed me this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like when he came last year, I'm going like, okay, hold on a second. Like I'll tell you one thing. Last year he worked really hard.
Yeah.
And he was above where he is. He was above the average of where he was last year. This year, I mean, like I loved seeing it when he did that turnaround goal. He scored, and he scored the one. He whacked it out of the air.
Yeah.
And he not that I watch a lot of hockey, but I do. But anyway, a guy like that getting rewarded, and to me that's going to go. Like, he's kind of a heart and soul guy, you know.
Yeah.
He's
not a little guy. He takes the body out there.
Gosh, I followed him for 4 years in Quinnipiac. He was at Harvard.
Yeah,
he was a superstar player in the ECAC college, and he was a Hobie Baker guy. Okay, now you could almost say the same thing about Jimmy Vesey's career that you're seeing with Lafreniere's right now. Lafreniere's getting the ice time. Jimmy Vesey's never really got the ice time.
No, I know.
He's always been a 3rd, 4th liner at best.
And if you don't get that 20 minutes a game,
you're never going to be the player you could be.
No. I was lucky enough when I came in, they only had 4 or 5D.
Well, you had Arnie Brown.
and Dick Clapper was there too. What was his name?
John Bednarski.
John. He was my defense partner in in Providence in the American League.
Sorry for your bad luck.
Yeah, I remember.
But it does make a difference, though, Gress, right? The time.
Oh, listen to me. I think I was lucky. Like I probably played 35, 40 minutes every game for the first couple of years I played.
Yeah. Well, you were a power play guy. You were a power play guy, regular shift guy, and you were out there when you were winning a game. I'm pretty sure you were the guy out there playing the defensive side of it too.
Yeah, it was, but there's like you were talking about VC. Like I just think that, like I watch how determined he is out there.
Yeah,
like he.
I love him.
I think a few years ago when he was here, he did this. He did the what do you call it? The drive-by kind of play.
Yeah. Like most of the NHL does today.
Yeah. I tell you one thing. He this year he's really impressed me.
Me too.
I hope he does really well.
So do I. Well, they did rewarded him with some power play time on the second line. So I mean, he's definitely getting noticed, and I agree with you. I really think, honestly, I think he'd do good if he got moved up a little bit, second line player. Or whatever.
Paulie, tell him what you told me. You think he should be taking Wheeler's spot? And
I do.
Wheeler got dropped down. Remember that the last game.
I think he should be on the first. I think he needs an opportunity on the first line. I think he brings speed, a little bit of that. Take the body.
With Kreider and Zibanejad.
Yeah, okay. on the line with Kreider and Zibanejad. I really think that.
So who do you take off of there then?
Well, Wheeler was playing there, and I thought that I didn't think that Wheeler really kind of was going to help that first line. I think Jimmy VC could help that first line. As Mika was I don't want to say struggling, but he just wasn't the player that we expected. I think Jimmy's speed, and I think he's got better hands than a lot of people think he has.
Well, he does. But again, it's all about ice time, Paulie.
Yeah, and that's why I said I would have liked him. And Chris, I've said this on probably 5 shows. I want to see him move up. I want to see him on that first line. I like Wheeler. I just don't think that, with his, I just don't think he can add to the first line. He doesn't have the speed. He just, sometimes to me, guys, he looks like he's skating in mud. I'll be honest with you. He's a little bit, I love him on the third line. I like him around Cooley. I know he can play, though. He's a big-bodied guy. I know there's a purpose for him on this team, but to be on the first line, trying to get Mika to really fall into himself again, and then obviously, I just think that VC has earned a little more playing time. That's me.
Yeah. Well, let me call Peter. I think here's what happens in that situation when the team is winning like that.
Yeah.
It's tough to start moving guys around too much.
That's what Katzy said. That's exactly what you
said. Hey, Paulie, what did I just say to you?
That's exactly.
Yeah,
I just said it. It's exactly what Chris said. Chris said it's hard to move guys when you're winning.
It is. Well, it is. It's like, okay, here you go. They lost last night, but they play Washington Saturday. LA. The game on Sunday is going to be. They'll be up for that game for sure because that's LA is unreal.
Yeah.
And the coach of LA grew up in my hometown.
Okay.
Todd McClellan.
So
anyway,
getting back to what he just said though, Paulie, is it if my fucking right winger plays like shit, we're winning. I ain't changing a fucking thing. Okay. And if my defenseman wants to stay out all night in the bar and we're still winning, I'll help him get to the bar.
Yeah. I'll give him a cab home too.
Yeah.
So, Ron, I know you got limited time, so I do want to ask you this. Obviously, last night was just an absolute stinker. And the couple of nights before, the Rangers had some really slow starts, fell behind in all three of the games early. The Sharks aren't much to talk about, even though they're scoring bucket loads of goals. Is there room to be concerned with these slow starts and maybe not the full 60-minute hockey club that we would like to see as fans? Is there a concern of not getting up for some games?
I think the concern is if you fall behind 2-0 in the first 5 minutes and you lose 6-2, there's concern.
Right.
All those games, but they fought back in those other games. They won. Not that they can do that against every team, but I found out one thing about this Ranger team. When they play against, it'd be divided. There's 16 teams, right, on our side.
Right.
If they play against the top 8 teams on our side,
they
play much better.
They won every game.
Yeah, and that's just that team for some reason has a mental block when it comes to certain teams. Columbus, Buffalo,
right,
Minnesota, Nashville. They lost to all teams that are not very good.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
They haven't lost to a team that's been really good yet.
That's kind of one of those things where they're sitting in the locker room and the guys are all like, okay.
Yeah.
And you're hoping the guy next to you is going to do all the work instead of you.
Right. Right. So no area of concern there.
I mean, if you do another 10 games like that, then you got concern.
Yeah.
But I don't think they just have a team that the other team, if they're working hard and the other team is getting frustrated, even if they're not scoring, if the game's 0-0, the other team is so scared to take a penalty against them. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
If they work hard, they're going to take a penalty sooner or later.
Right.
They have a great power play.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah, they do.
And the other thing I think too, Gresh, that I've noticed, I don't think Laval lets these guys off the hook when they do have a clunker. He lets them know. Where a lot of coaches, I think, in the modern day are afraid to actually call out their teams. There's only a few coaches left in the league that will call out their teams. One is Paulie's favorite, and that's Tortorella.
I love Tortorella.
Paulie loves Uncle Torts.
I like him too.
Paulie hates his guts.
I love him. I think he's a.
But I'm saying it's okay to call out players now, even though you're looking at a 40, 50, 65 $million roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where in our day it was $3 million or less, roster.
Oh, yeah, I know. Anyway, your Pittsburgh Penguins are losing 3-0.
My Penguins? Hey, by the way, what do you think? Before we go, I want to ask one more thing about hockey.
Okay.
Alex Ovechkin, do you think he's going to break Gretzky's mark? I say no.
How old is he now? 38?
37 going on 38. I have not seen a live picture of him till this year, like up to group age, like, you know what I mean? Like, other than on the ice, he looks old. It's looking old on him now. And I've watched him on the ice. He's lost half a step too.
He's only got like 3. Have you got 3 goals this year?
5, 2 empty netters.
Yeah. Well, let's see if he scores 20 goals this year.
He's got to score 53 the next season.
Yeah, but he's got to score. I think it's going to be tough for him because I don't think he's not going to get better.
Right.
He's not going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to. Last year I scored 40. I'm going to score 50 this year. It goes the other way now. It's working its way.
Well, how come Crosby's doing so well?
Because
he's a better player.
Well, he only drank half as much alcohol, probably.
Crosby's got 14 goals already.
14 or 15, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
He didn't score tonight, though.
No, You probably had him in one of your
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul, anything else you want to do? Because I know it's past his bedtime.
Yeah. Well, I know you wanted to ask him, what he was doing and what's he doing for the Rangers. So go ahead. And,
give us an idea of what's going on in Ron Greschner's life besides taking care of your 4 children, who are all grown, basically grown adults.
Yeah, they're all going to college.
I've watched them grow from knee high to. You should see the size of his one son, boy, Jagger. Jagger makes Gresh and I put together look small. Okay?
Oh,
trust me on this one.
Yeah.
But taking care of your kids.
Working for the Rangers.
Working with the Rangers now under is it official, like an official tag on you? Or?
Yeah, I love working there.
It's about time.
I do whatever they want. I don't care. Like I do much as they want or as little as they want. It's a nice feeling. It's just it's I don't know. I just like it. 50 years I'm here, so I there's not much I can say. Everything I'd say would have to say about them is good, from Mr. Dolan all the way down the line.
Yeah.
Well, I think you know me, Grace. I've talked to you for a few years now about it. I always thought you should be the guy, and glad it's happened. Last question for you that I know you might not answer the way I would. Your sweater should be up in the rafters. That's as far as I'm concerned. Not that one. Not that one. I'm talking about your New York number 4. To me, like it's about not just the hockey player. It's about time given, staying with the team. Like you said, 50 years. You never played for any other team.
No.
And if if anybody's going to put like the onus on, you got to be a Stanley Cup winner, you got to be this. That's bullshit. Okay, because I could see about 4 or 5 jerseys up there right now that didn't win a Stanley Cup. So, anyhow, that's my feeling on it. I just want to see if you want to add to
it. Whatever happens, happens. I go with the flow. I hang out with my kids, and I guess maybe those are my Stanley Cups right there.
Listen. I know. Like I said, I got back in the relationship with you when I think it was 206 or 207, and I watched your kids grow and how you take care of them and everything else. You're a good father, no question about it. Let's call it this way: he spoils the shit out of them. How's that?
Well, you know what?
Deservedly so. Deservedly so. They're good kids.
Listen, if I couldn't, I wouldn't.
Hey, I do the same thing with my one and only. I just let them go though.
Yeah, but you got so much more time in your hands than me. You don't shovel snow or nothing.
Listen, by the way, you do have a birthday coming up this month.
He does everything.
He also, listen.
Stop mumbling. Stop mumbling. Just
you
talk.
didn't do your scouting right. Sorry, big boy. Bottom line is you do have a birthday coming up. The 22nd, I think it is?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
What are you turning, 75?
Don't feel a day over. You know what's really strange? When you're 14, 15 years old, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, you want to get older.
Getting your driver's license.
Yeah. Then you're legal age of drinking.
Yeah. Then 21, you can gamble.
And after that,
you turn 21, you gamble for a year, and you turn 65.
It's all shit after that.
Yeah, you can't get out of bed.
Yeah, he's bringing it up because I just turned 65, and now I'm an official old fogey like the rest of them.
I can't remember who said this. I think it was Mickey Mantle. Said that if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken a lot better care of myself. But,
yeah.
One of the best old people lines is when Stemmer said that night at the golf tournament alumni. He looked at all the new Rangers, says, "Take a look at us." He goes, alumni, he goes, "You're all going to look like us one day."
But it's like you like I tried my whole life never to have a bad day.
Yeah.
Even though some days were not good,
Yeah.
But I look at the better part of things, and like I tell my kids, I can help them as long as I'm alive.
Well, kind of like your dad. You know what? You're just like your dad.
If I could be as good as my father ever, that's an accomplishment.
I know enough about the history of the family. You're almost just like your dad. From what you've told me and what I know.
He was one of the funniest men ever, boy. I'll tell you. I'll give you a story. One night, my mom and dad, they both like to gamble, right? So my dad was sick, and my dad was sick, and it was back in the late '90s. So there was it was a casino not very far from their place in Palm Springs, California, called Fantasy.
Okay.
So we go there for 12 o'clock for lunch. The people that ran it, they knew my family, so we go there for lunch. Now we're going to gamble. So we start gambling. My dad's having a drink. I'm having a drink. My mom's having a drink. So then, around 7 o'clock, I said, "You guys want to get out of here?" My mom goes, "No, I'm playing this machine. I'm going to win this machine." She's playing whatever one of the slot machines, right? So I go, "Okay." 12 o'clock. I go, "Do you want to go?" She goes, "Take your dad home." I go, "Okay," because he had a few cocktails. I go, "Okay." So we get in the car. I drive him home, take him in the house, and he goes to bed. And I get back in the car and I go back there. We leave there at 6:15 in the morning.
Jesus.
Me and my mother leave there. She won the jackpot.
Oh.
Won the jackpot around 5. It took him an hour to get the money.
Really?
We walk into the house. We've both been drinking all night, me and her. Right?
Yeah.
It's like 25 years ago. I'm walking in. I sit down on the couch. And I sit down in the chair by the bar in the kitchen. My mom was making me something to eat. My dad was walking out. He goes, "Oh, you guys are up early." Yeah. I laid down on the couch. Slept the whole day. The last 3 years my dad was alive, he wasn't in good health. And I spent so much time with him. You just can't, like, you can't, we had me and him as I went at this Fantasy Springs casino. Every time I played these games, like card games, and if you get 2 pair or whatever, they give you a piece of paper to fill out, right? Yeah. And so I kept throwing into this big tub, and they end up. My dad won a 1998 BMW 2-seater.
Wow.
There were 6 people drawn from there, and he had his operation, so he was all like, so he pulls it out. They give him a key, right? So he pull and mention his name. So I just fill in his name for everything. I played for 2 months every day for like 8 hours a day
to get him that BMW.
probably spent $300,000 trying to get that car. So
it's probably a Z3.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Hey, Paulie works for BMW, right?
Oh yeah, that was a beautiful car though. The good thing about it was I had to bring glasses along because my eyes were above the windshield.
Yeah.
So
they're not a big man's car.
Well, he puts his key in, and like he wasn't drinking anymore at that time. So I go, "Dad, you got to turn the key. It doesn't turn itself." He turns the key, opens the door. He was the 6th person that tried it. So anyway, guy comes over. He says, "I'll give you guys $20,000 cash." Get out of here. The car was worth at least 30 or 35 back then. I said, he goes, "How much do you want?" I go, $30,000 cash. He goes, I'll give you a check. I go, like this. You see "dumb motherfucker" written on here somewhere? Give me a check. I take the check. So the next day, the guy calls up. He goes, and went to this bank in Palm Springs, Bank of America, I remember. Pulled up there, and then I drove the car up, and he goes, "You got the paper yet?" I signed it. The title. And he goes, "Okay, here's the cash." I said, "Don't leave yet. I'm coming out the parking lot."
Yeah, count it.
I'm coming out. Yeah, they'll give you they'll put a piece of paper in there.
Yeah.
Sure.
You take it up to the sunlight.
Oh yeah, I went through it all. So I gave my dad the 30 grand, and he gave my sister some, my brother-in-law some. I can't remember who else, my nephews, whatever. I go what about me? He goes, what about you? That's what he told me when I was 16 years old. He goes, he had car dealerships, right? He goes, I turned 16. I want to get a car. He goes, okay, you can have that car over there. I said, okay. He goes, the car's $1,200. You didn't charge my sisters for the car. I was, are you a girl? That's what he said to me. Are you a girl? I go, no. He said, you buy your own car.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
So,
Hey, listen, Gresh, we can sit here and talk all night with listen to stories, and we're definitely going to bring you back on because
anytime, my pleasure.
I don't know if you've looked at the side here. There's a chat room, and people love the show so far, and
I don't see anything online.
We'll bring you on again, no question about it. I know it's past your bedtime.
What time is it anyway?
It's quarter to 10.
Way past.
9:45.
Okay, you guys, thanks a lot, and thanks for all the Ranger fans watching too. Or listen, this is the thing right here. I love hockey fans.
Well, we love you, man.
But I love Ranger fans. I like hockey fans, but I love Ranger fans.
And we love you, Ron. It's
awesome.
It's awesome. Awesome stuff, man. Well,
awesome time. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Hopefully, I'll be able to see you one of these days at a game.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Paulie's going to be my guest to the outdoor game. So you just get your goose jacket and come out and freeze with us.
You
won't be going. You'll be in a private box somewhere.
No, my kids are all going, so I'll be going.
All right, we're going to hook up, Paulie and
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be a great time. Great time.
Okay, you guys.
All right, Ron.
Now, I'll talk to you tomorrow, Gresh.
Merry Christmas and be safe.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Yeah, all right.
You got it.
Awesome. How much fun? How much fun is that, huh?
Oh, boy.
Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. I tell you, it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun to honestly to sit here and listen to you guys talk about, the stories like the Nicky shirt and
Paul, if it's not for a show like this, and I know there's others, you're never going to hear this kind of stuff.
I know.
You know what I mean? You're not going to hear this.
I love doing that.
And I think, regardless how people think, about politically correct and unpolitically correct, all this stuff here. When we talk about the old times, we're telling you the truth, plain and simple. And it might not be the way things are today, and we know probably not, like when it comes to the way hockey is. But we had fun. We might have been bitter at times, we might have been angry at times as our careers were playing, but we had a lot of fucking fun at the same time.
Yeah.
And he's one guy that I can't tell him how many times I've talked to him and said to him, how the fuck did you last 17 years of one team? Because the aura that I got from Gresh when I did play with him is that management and guys like Espo and guys like, they were kind of a little afraid of him. And I never understood why. And I said that to him one day. He goes, I have no idea why, but, it's just the way it was.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And then, it's nice to get the perspective of, what he feels about the team, who some of his favorite players. It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And, like you said, we need to do it more often whenever available. But it adds a new element. It adds a new element to the program too. And
I think I'm going to add some more. I'm going to bring in some guys that were like real. I call the black and blue boys, the guys that played the game hard, played the game, were good teammates, stuff like that. And they'll have some good stories too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. And that's what people love, you know, as much as, you know, I got to tell you, I mean, you know, I don't know that I speak of my story much. And, you know, I don't really think at times it matters, but, you know, my passion for the game of hockey came from my dad, and I lost him. I lost him really early.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to tell you, between just becoming so close to you as a friend personally, and then obviously the program, and then, you know, all the guests that you've brought in along the way, the Nicky Patius, the Ron Greschners, we had Barry Beck, we had Ron Duguay, we've had some guys.
You had Steve Vickers.
Yep. I grew up watching these guys with my dad. And you know, it's where I get my love for hockey is because of my father. And I sit back sometimes and I listen to these stories, and I'm not trying to get sentimental or crazy on anybody, but I really wish my dad was around, because he would I know what it would do for him, and that's what I love to do for the fans of our program.
I would have loved to sat down with your dad and you and your mom and have a good old Italian dinner and just spread the bullshit all night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the motivation for me.
And I did
come out of broadcasting school.
And I'm going to say it. I did look at you when Gresh talked about his dad has been, passed away. And I looked at you, and I saw you kind of like show some kind of emotion there. I saw that.
Yeah. Well, I know what it.
I'm not a dumb motherfucker on my forehead. I caught it, Paul.
Like I said, so bringing this element, I love it because I think of how much he would have loved it, and I think about how many fans and generations. Because really, Ranger fans are most of us are generational fans. Very much like the Toronto man, very much like the original 6 fan base. These are. I'm third generation. His uncle who raised my dad got him into the New York Rangers, who got me into the New York Rangers, and into the game. Fell in love with the game. I mean, my dad used to get free Islander tickets, and we used to go. We were Ranger fans, but what would we do? We used to root against the Islanders. But my point is, bringing the stories on and all this stuff, it really is, for me, it's an accomplishment because it's something that I grew up loving. I just I want other people to just get that. So,
awesome.
Fun stuff, man.
Awesome.
Other than that, man, I mean, real quick.
I'll say it. I do agree with you a little bit about the Rangers being a little too wide open defensively the last few games. I'll agree with that part.
Yeah.
And the true test is going to be these next 2 games.
Yeah. Listen, I
love a test to see how they bounce back, because they're going to, if they play their game, they should beat Washington. But again, you don't just throw your sticks out there. You better be ready. Yeah. But the Kings game is going to be a real good test. Yeah. The Kings set a record. You know that, right?
Yeah, for
most wins on a road ever.
On the road. Yeah.
In a row. Ever. Yeah. In the history of hockey. That's almost unfucking heard of in today's game.
That's serious business, man.
They came back. Mind you, they did win a game in overtime last night, so it should have been a tie. But they came back from 3-0 last night to win that game.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I think Ron stated it. I think hopefully the Rangers get up for that game. That's gonna be an interesting game, and it's gonna be a good gauge game. And I'm a gauge guy, and I know if you listen.
Oh, no. Listen, I read your thing. I'm not going to sit there and say you're wrong for saying what you said on Facebook, but I think you're a little more of a panicky mode guy than I am.
Yeah. And admittedly so. I said that about 2 weeks ago on the show. I said, listen, I'm more of a pessimistic when it comes to the Rangers than I am optimistic.
Well, because they've
they've broken my heart more than one time. Exactly. So, I don't know, and I feel bad when I get this way. I feel bad, but I guess I'm preparing myself for the letdown that I hope never happens. But I guess that's where I'm at. So, listen, I want everyone to understand. I love the New York Rangers. I'm a third-generation hockey fan. I'm a former season ticket holder. Obviously, I love the game so much. I bring a podcast and I look at certain things in the game, and I kind of have this gauge. And I guess when I feel like the team doesn't meet that expectation in the gauge, I start to get frustrated. I get it. I think they've been sloppy the last 3 games. They were able to overcome in 2. Last night was a real stinker for me, and I was just disappointed. You don't want to keep losing. You don't want to keep, these 500 teams. You should be able to, or less. You should be able
listen, I get your concern, but you're talking about they're 18 what now? 5-1?
18, 5-1. Yep. They're great. The record's great.
So they've had a few stinkers. It's just a few, Paulie.
Yeah.
Not like 5 or 6. Even the games they lost were not all stinkers.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were not great, but they weren't all stinkers. So I'm not concerned about it. I wouldn't even be concerned about it this weekend if for some reason if they don't win both games. I'm still not concerned about it because they got off to such a great start, just like Vegas did, just like Boston did. But everybody's going to come back to the field a little bit here. If you go 4 times what they did in their first 20 games, we're talking fucking 12 losses the whole fucking year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's almost impossible these days. So,
yeah.
The only thing I'm going to say, I agree with you. They're a little too wide open in their own zone, and it's not just goaltending. It's forwards and defense not being in the right spots.
Yeah. So
that part I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Last night's game, did you watch the whole thing?
I did.
That could have been a 12-8 game, Ottawa. If the goaltenders weren't sharp in both ends, they were pretty sharp. Maybe it's just Sturka struggled on a couple, but it could have been a 12-8 game.
Just so wide open. Yeah.
And that
was
want to see.
And you know what? That was a lot of with the Sharks too, though. That game was very, very resembling. It had the big resemblance of the Sharks game to me, and
Not really, though, Molly. They had a 6-3 lead, and then fucking fettered.
Well, yeah, but they were down. I think they were down 1-0, and they were down 2-1.
Yeah, but they still had a 6-3 lead with
right
14 minutes left in the third period. Then it went backwards on them.
Right, but they didn't start off fresh. They started off behind the hole. They went 1-0, and then they went 2-1, and then they,
playing down to the level of the team that you're playing against.
Right, and I'd like to see.
I agree.
And then again, allowing 5 and 6 goals. You got to start scratching your head here and say what's going on. But like you said, it's early enough to say, hey, they're allowed to have a stinker. They're winning a lot of hockey games. I'm kind of looking towards that. I want to see that championship mindset that they need to be ready to go. They want to play hockey. They need to start to fall into a system that, they can't be giving up 5 goals a game, especially.
No, and I don't think they will. That's just my opinion. But you're gonna have fucking spots throughout the year where this is gonna happen. It's happened to every team so far this year.
Sure.
I can't sit there and tell you. I mean, fucking Washington got fucking shut out 6-0 by Arizona.
Yeah.
Who did you ever think Washington would ever get shut out by Arizona 6-0?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How's Tampa doing? They win, they lose. They win, they lose. They win, they lose.
They were just talking about how Arizona's have beaten the 5 last Stanley Cup winners. They've beaten them all in a row. So crazy how things happen.
You got to play up to your competition I'm not worried yet, but give it another fucking 2-3 weeks, and then I might turn on them like you. But I'm not turning on them. I think they're going to bounce back. I think they know. It's like I told you, and I've told Gresh this too on the phone. We talk hockey too, Gresh and I. Panarin is absolutely on fire. Everything you said about him is great and true, but he's embarrassed about his playoff performances. I know he is. I know he's embarrassed about it. Okay? I know he's embarrassed about it. That's why he's coming up large this year. Like, he's going to fucking show everybody his mentality that I'm not going to take this shit anymore. And I think it's rubbing off on Zibanejad. It's going to rub off on Kreider. Because these are the three fucking guys that have been there the longest up front. Okay? They need to show this shit. Right. I think this is the year, Paulie. It's this year or it's not going to be for a while. It's not going to be because those guys are getting older too. They're not fucking 25 anymore. They're in their early 30s, and you know how it goes. Once you get to that 33,
they're getting older.
It's either.
What did Ron say? They're not going to get better. Yeah. So I agree.
I think they're going to put it on their shoulders, and they're going to play as well as they possibly can. And if it wins a Stanley Cup, fine. If it doesn't, then I think you're going to see some changes. I really do. Yeah. You can't keep coming back with the same fucking top guys over and over and over again.
Yeah, and not winning. Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, think about this. Like, people don't want to hear it, but they fucking won a lot of games without their so-called Bobby Orr on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So did they really need him? Now I'll play the pessimist. Fuck, I would trade him. You'd get fucking at least a first rounder and a second rounder and a fucking star player right now for him.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there for you.
Hey, I don't disagree with you, man. I don't disagree with you.
You get a pretty good haul for an Adam Fox right now.
Oh, yeah.
But then you'd get absolutely tortured by the New York Ranger crowd. Anyhow, good show.
Well, unless they won the Stanley Cup, then you wouldn't hear nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, like,
I got to tell you, in '94, when the Rangers traded away Mike Gartner, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you thinking? Mike Gartner was bread and butter for the New York Rangers at that time, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that. But
they traded him away, and they won a Stanley Cup. You trade away an Adam Fox, and you fill the hole.
They traded a whole bunch of fucking young guys away.
Yeah. They got rid of Doug Wade. They got rid of Tony Amonte. Right? They got rid of Mike Weingart. Mike Weingart. Oh, my God.
Fuck, you remember? How about this guy's name that you don't even remember was on that Stanley Cup winning team? Mike Hudson.
Yeah.
You remember him? He's like the fourth line center.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers him, do they?
Nah. Who was on that fourth line? Joey Koser? Mike Hudson?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mike Hudson.
It might have been like Nick Kraprios would play a game here and then too. Remember?
Yeah.
Nick Kiprios once in a while. They mix Eddie Olchuk. There was a mixture, but Eddie never played one game in the Stanley Cup.
Nope.
I don't think he played a game in the playoffs that year.
Nope.
But he's got his name on the cup.
Yeah.
Fucking phony fuck.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's a phony.
Oh yeah.
He's nothing but a phony.
Yeah.
All right, big boy.
All right. Next week, what's it, Wednesday? Next week, maybe we'll.
I don't know what the schedule is. So, like, you got to schedule, I guess, around Ranger games.
Yeah, we usually do Tuesday or Wednesday, so it's usually one or the other, unless they do back to back, and then we have to figure out. We'll figure it out.
Greg Gilbert.
Yes.
Richard Mason. He's just a plethora of information.
Yes, Greg Gilbert.
Fucking Islander.
Yeah. And then who played on Esatikinen's line?
I don't fuck. You know better than me. I just.
Yeah. Tikkanen was on that team. Anderson was on that team. Steve Larmer was on that team. They loaded up, man, and they got rid of talent to win. And I'm at the point where I'm the same way. I'll sell the team to win the Stanley Cup at this point. But all right, we'll figure out what we're doing next week. What a great show! What a great time!
Yeah, let's make sure you pump it big time when you put it up.
Yep, and we're gonna do that. We'll do that now, and we'll tag it and leave it in the Instigators show so people can watch it at their convenience. But we'll pump it up next week, and Rangers. It's a big weekend for them, so we'll see what happens.
All righty.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining.